I went from 0 to 154,000 followers on TikTok in less than 10 months. But at the height of my growth, in January of this year, I quit social media altogether. Well, kind of. 30 days. If you're new to the channel, I'm Kevin at Cross Culture Christian, and on this channel, I want to help Christian content creators and ministry leaders create culturally relevant content through online video. I'm mostly active on TikTok, but I'm hoping to use this channel to just kind of share some things that I've learned about engaging with the other. But if you're not a Christian, but you're a content creator and you're posting stuff online, you want to kind of create an audience and eventually maybe even want to monetize that, yeah, you're definitely welcome here as well. So if you're any one of those things, feel free to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, please. It'll help your boy. Okay, without further ado, here are the 6 things that I learned from my time away from social media. Number 1, time is a non-renewable resource. The illusion is that time is somehow inexhaustible, but that's not necessarily true. Every day you're given a certain amount of time to do as you choose, but with every passing second, a moment is spent and it's gone. So to put things into perspective, if time is literally money, you'd be getting $86,400 per day. That's $1 per second per day. And $1 is invested into whatever you are doing or not doing. And even if you'd be getting $86,400 tomorrow, which by the way is not guaranteed because life is unpredictable because of coronavirus, tomorrow is still a new day with a new date. Taking a break from social media made me realize how much time I could invest into doing the things that can actually move my life forward in the area of my ministry, my marriage, or content creation. Lesson number 2, you can't do everything you want to do, but you must do everything that you need to do. So the difference between needs and wants, I think, boils down to your definition of success. What you need to do are the things that will obviously and overtly contribute to your success. And the things that you want to do, some of those things can actually contribute to your success and some other things may not. So in January, I was able to reflect on my definitions of success and in turn was also able to get some clarity about my needs and my wants when it comes to choices and priorities. Lesson number 3. There is a difference between active consumption and passive consumption on social media. So passive consumption is basically when you are mindlessly scrolling as a way to escape, and I did a ton of that last year. And like mid-key, like that's something that I'm struggling with right now as I'm back on. Active consumption, on the other hand, it means that you are thinking and reflecting on what you are consuming. I think a productive way to do this is something that I learned recently called the bird song technique. When you're outside walking on the park or maybe in the balcony and you're just kind of seeing what's happening, you'll come across birds. So for most of us, when we hear birds outside, myself included, I'm kind of ambivalent to that. I basically say, okay, well, it's a bird. In many cases, I'm not even reflecting on the bird. But if you are a birder, if you have actually studied birds and if you have studied the different frequencies and the sounds that different birds make, then when you're outside and you listen to a certain bird, you can be like, oh wow, that's this bird, or that's the myna, or a crow, or a duck-billed platypus. That's not a bird. Or like a peacock, or some says peacocks. Who sees peacocks in San Diego? But I digress. Whether you're a student or a professional, whatever work you're doing, you're already consulting different pieces of information to help you enhance your work. So using the birdsong technique to your social media scrolling means to look at social media as a place where you can potentially find interesting pieces of information and ideas that can now be transformed to enhance your work. So instead of simply consuming, think about how you can transform what you consume into a meaningful product that will bless others and move the world forward. If you're a teacher and you're scrolling, think about how that tweet that you found interesting can enhance an upcoming lesson. If you're a pastor like me, instead of just liking the post, ask yourself, okay, why did I like this? Like, what about this post did I find interesting? And then maybe even find a way to incorporate that thing into your upcoming sermon or your Bible study. For example, I know some moms who have been following me. You know who you are. You've used some of my videos as an educational tool to teach your kids how to make tea, and that have used that as kind of like a family bonding thing. Like that's like so cool. That is so awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. And here I'm not saying to go to social media with the express purpose of foraging information so that you can use it for whatever you're doing. I'm not saying that. But I do think that when you shift your mindset from passive consumption to active consumption, you can definitely enhance the quality of your life in so many different serendipitous ways. Lesson number 4. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Today we live in what sociologists call an information economy. It's this mode of living, especially here in the West, where the primary capital or goods traded between entities and organizations and people is information. Information is power. And you know that the people who have the power to regulate the flow of information are some of the most powerful people in this planet. Now, if information is arguably the most precious commodity today, guess what is being traded every second of our lives in exchange for it? Attention. Your attention and mine. If that's the case, then attention is the most valuable currency in our information economy. Every second you're on any social media platform, you're trading your attention for information. But something else happens during this trade. Singaporean writer Wee Wee Tan, when talking about her experience of being burnt out in New York and she goes to Italy to recharge, she writes these really poignant words reflecting on the idea of beauty. She says, "Beauty is anything, an object, words on a page, the sound of music that stills the soul and fills it with joy, peace, and love. Artists have been given a gift from God, the ability to heal the soul. As I looked at those objects in Italy, the more beauty I saw, the more beautiful I felt inside. I began to understand then a profound but simple truth. You become what you contemplate." In other words, what you pay attention to not only informs you, but also forms you. It's only when I made a hard break from social media that I realized that obsessing over analytics, being so preoccupied with the comments, even consuming like inspiring and soul lifting content was subconsciously forming into a person that I did not necessarily like. But when I stopped, I realized another truth. And this brings me to lesson number 5. Your interior life is more important than your virtual life. Your interior life is kind of like the engine of your existence, made up of a complex system of beliefs and ideas, which drives your steps in the real world. It's kind of like your life under the hood. And your virtual life, well, it's this. It's your life described by your social media feed. It's the life defined and described by your highlight reel, the analytics, the clout, the image, the production, all of that. For me, as a Christian, the inner life is the way of Jesus. It's a type of life defined and characterized by the lessons and the lifestyle of Jesus if he were a person right now in 2021. Not being in social media for 30 days allowed me to tune into my inner life in a way that I've not been able to do in months. I felt like this low-grade hum of ambient anxiety was lifted for a bit, clearing the clutter of my mind and my heart to actually listen to the voice of God. When I stopped from creating content in January, I was also reminded of the importance of my doing flowing from my being, rather than my being with God being at the mercy of my doing for God. And lesson number 6, a phone call with a friend is more valuable than 1,000 fans. Now, if you're a follower, I'm thankful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about somebody else. But you know, hours in front of the screen had affected my offline relationships by, I think, priming my brain towards the sensational rather than the ordinary. Taking the break opened my eyes to who was in front of me. My wife, my friends, my family, and of course, my cats. It made me realize, rather revisit, the wonder of the mundane, the wonder of the day-to-day, and the beauty of the regular. I found that my quality of life had deepened simply because I had now more time left to invest into my relationships, more time to invest into the people in my life. A few weeks ago, I remember my wife telling me, "Misiello, I love this. I've missed this. You're so present." And yeah, that was like... So yeah, 6 things. So moving forward into 2021, I am approaching my content creation, my social media time, my use with a lot more intentionality than I had before. Because I believe that the best gift that I can give my wife, my family, the people that I love, and you, is my self-care. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I have a couple of ideas, some scratch notes, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And if you watched this whole thing from beginning to end and you have not skipped, put a cup emoji on the comments, and yeah, let me know what out of the 6 things, like what you resonated with the most. Let's continue the conversation down there. You, my friend, are loved, and your story matters. Take care and God bless.